Good.
So, okay, so thank you all for joining. Thank you all. You are all very great to be with us. I really want to thank you all for the support that you're giving as usual and help this time in the meeting. The meetings are amazing. The feedback is amazing that I receive. As I always say, without all of you that are here, it would never happen. Don't forget to destroy that like button on the YouTube if you see the meeting recorded, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Today, we're going to have a very interesting and incredible meeting with a former top legendary player, Vladmir Grbic. And we will speak about his experience as a player, as volleyball, and also a bit about the relationship between him and the referees. This is for our interest. So Vladimir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for invite.
Let's start with the question that I ask everybody. How did you start with volleyball? What was your first memory of volleyball in your life?
Well, volleyball is a family affair. My father was a former player. Mm-hmm. He was very well, which actually, you're supposed to be universal, to learn everything and to know everything, to play. Yeah. So I'm coming from this kind of school, which was played 100,000 years ago, let's say, because development of the sport is very fast. And my uncles also play volleyball in this village where I come from, with 1,800 people. They were national champions, right, with the boys only from the village, no sponsors, no, so it was like reality, which is on the line of incredible. And the girls, same thing, they won the cup, also only girls from the village. So this kind of culture that we had was strong input for us also to start and to play volleyball. Essentially, it was desire to prove to our father that we are probably, hopefully, for respect from his side, because he was our mentor, he was our idol, he was our father, but he was also image of man that we wanted to be when we grow. And his character, his commitment and dedication was extraordinary. So he won the first European medal for former Yugoslavia, 1975. He was the captain of the team. And they say that my type of playing was very similar to his. So let's say with the age of 15, I played also football and volleyball. And it has arrived time for me to choose. I didn't know that, but he knew. And he said, you can play whatever you want, but you will play volleyball, which was not imposed, because he already see that I will become volleyball player. And I start within elementary school, but I didn't have many practices. Then medium schools, with the 13, 14 years, let's say I started a little bit more serious. It was always there, but never, let's say, constant training. And then with the 14 years, I start to practice seriously, let's say, to go every day, etc., etc., etc. So my growth was, first of all, for love of volleyball. When they say, you were, I wanted to give up on volleyball 10 times, because as everything in life, you have challenges. Mm-hmm. And these challenges are due difficulties, due impossibility of yourself to achieve what you would like to, or other people is better, or simply you're just, annoyed. But what really drive me was love towards volleyball. And thanks to this, I stay and I succeed to finish in 39 years.
Do you think that this love continued until your last, even more now also, as you work and everything?
Absolutely. They ask me many times, why didn't you organize the last game for yourself? I said, because I will never give up on volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. It helped me a lot to become person I am. It helped me a lot to understand basic principles of life, what means the team, what means success, what means social maturity. So I wanted to continue with this by learning the skills which will help you to make a transfer of the knowledge, passion, and everything that is around volleyball or sport generally to the kids who supposed to continue the job of those before me. So no matter how important I think I can be, I'm just one ring in infinite chain of those before for those after. And how we will prepare the kids for the future, it's our responsibility and our mission.
This is a
how
very,
much
very important, this is a very important thing that you are saying, because a lot of players, a lot of top players or referees or coaches eventually forget that there's supposed to be a new generation coming afterwards. And when they finish their work, they say, I did my job and that's it.
Yes, but I'm not like the most.
Yeah, that's what
And I'm not like the biggest number of the players. I played in 6 countries in my career.
Mm-hmm.
Japan, Russia, Greece, Turkey, Italy, and Brazil. I play with all races, all religions, all nationalities.
Yeah.
And they always were taking me because I was a team player, the guy who was bringing team together. Because without team, we cannot win. And we have to accept each other no matter differences, no matter how we think that we are good. If we are alone, we lose. And in 2011, something has changed in my life. I embrace experience of Special Olympics, which is activity with the kids of intellectual disability.
Mm-hmm.
And they invite me for the World Games in Athens in 2011. So I went there as, Olympic champion, gold medal, celebrity, VIP, etc., etc.,
We got
etc.
medals here on the chest.
Yeah. And I said, okay, I will go there with no prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
What I met there was a world completely different of the world I knew. It was a world of the people, so passionate and so committed that I felt ashamed to be called celebrity or VIP. These kids, in every single point, they have shown to us, to everybody who was watching, what means to be real Olympic champion. For every single ball, they were ready to die. Not because the budget, not because of the medal, not because of followers on a social network, no. Simply for the passion of the game. They get opportunity to play. Because normally, as a difference of people of mass population, they do not have possibility that people from mass population have. So these were their occasion to show how much they are capable of and how much they care about this opportunity. And I said, wait, we are professionals. We have lost the essence of the sport and passion. And they remind me why actually we are on the field and why we are practicing sport. So in 2011, I entered in the Hall of Fame. I was inducted by Doug Bill. And while I was climbing the stairs, coming to Doug, I said, now I know that every training, every game, every drop of my blood, every drop of my sweat was guiding me to this moment of understanding that my mission from now on is not to go around the world by showing the best point ever in volleyball history, which is only one episode that describes passion and commitment of honor and of the chance that you get to play for your national team. But my mission is to get the knowledge and passion of the people I was watching as a kid to the kids after us. So after I came back in Serbia, I restart my studies. I finished University of Sport and Physical Education in Belgrade, and I inscribed to PhD studies, where I have to defend my thesis in 2 months, maybe a little bit more, and unfortunately become first and only volleyball Olympic champion and Hall of Famer with PhD from the field. Sky is the limit.
Yeah, for sure. And also you are also a Special Olympic and the Goodwill Games ambassador.
Yes, yes.
Can you tell us?
Let's say Special Olympics are divided in 4 categories. We have 23 sports, and categories are on behalf of disability. So the good thing or fantastic thing is that the nature of this activity started in 60s, end of 60s of the last century, by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, sister of JFK, which wanted and fight to give possibility to all people around the world to participate and win and show themselves, express themselves as anybody. And the movement have nearly 200 federations. It has structure, which is Shriver family, mostly. Timothy is the main chairman, and has global ambassadors, which is, I don't know, probably you haven't heard about these names, but I will try to mention some. Nadia Comaneci, Michael Phelps, Dikembe Mutombo, Yao Ming, Didier Drogba, Vanessa Williams.
Never heard of them.
Stevie Wonder. And I am the only one from the Europe. And let's say only one from the volleyball. And I can tell you that respect that they show me because of the commitment and job done is infinite. These are people I can call my friends. I am very close to Nadia and Brett Connor, very close friend to Timothy Shriver also. What we do constantly is we discuss and try to help to open occasions for the kids with intellectual disability to have possibility to show the beauty of the movement, which is, you know, people with similar capacities are homogeneous groups.
Yeah.
People with not similar capacities are heterogeneous groups. Now, what we do in Special Olympics, we do unified sport. Unified sport means, for a volleyball, for example, 3 players which are athletes with intellectual disability and 3 partners. 3 partners are helping to 3 athletes to be better in the game. And I can tell you, when it's done in a proper way, the progress that kids with intellectual disability do is impressive. Nearly you cannot see the differences. And the way they are showing and sharing each other, what we are in many occasions forget is that aspects of personality of the people from mass population, partners, they become more patient, more cherish, they are ready for collaboration, socially matured, etc., 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 which is not only kids with intellectual disability have benefit in progress of sport, which is important because for them, knowing that they are better and self-confidence is the biggest issue. So if, for example, you do not help them or you swear to them, they go 5 steps back.
Yeah.
So improvement and repetition is the best way for them to get self-confidence. And having partners who understand this is the greatest thing. I had opportunity to work as a coach a little bit, so I figured the difference. You know, as a coach, I was giving an indication how to serve. I wanted to teach him how to serve. So I was saying like this, like this, like this, and I was giving indications. So he made this mistake, 2, 3, 4. And I understood that I am becoming nervous. And I said, are you crazy? If he can understand what you are saying, he would do it. It's not about you or your capacity. It's about him. So you have to completely erase yourself and use vocabulary or suggestions that will give him the courage and tranquility to do what you are asking from him. And I can tell you, in working and teaching kids in acquisition of new elements or elimination of the mistake or fear, this method is the best way to do the things. In many occasions, coaches are wanting to have, I am the boss. And I'm telling my friend, if you're a commander and you're losing the battle, everybody's dead.
Yeah.
Who cares? You have to preserve your soldiers and win the battle. That's the point. So it's not about what you know. It's about how do you guide. That's the main issue. So I start to encourage him. So he felt on his own. So he served 3 times a row over the net. He could not stop. He was jumping entire time. It was really fantastic experience.
This is really interesting as a method of education and passing the
Yes.
because
Yes.
you can see coaches. I mean, most of the coaches that you see on the match, on the courts, they become really angry. They will shout on the teams. They cannot try to express something, but they have a different way of expressing it. Could put the players in pressure and to get the opposite instead of what they asked him to do.
You know, maturation and stability or strength of the person is shown and demonstrated in a difficult moments. How he maintained the calm, or how he react in the moments of extreme stress. You know, they said that greatest warriors and fighters are never angry. Well, who was watching me, he wouldn't be totally agreed with that, but I can tell you, for example, when people was watching me, I was on 120%. And they say, you were fearless, you were, it's not true. There is no courage without fear. There is no achievement without emotion. What you have to do is to learn how to control and domain your nature. That's the main issue, you know. To understand how you will guide a game or how you will deal with the game as a referee, you must understand that you are on the service as a coach of your team and as a referee of the game and entire show.
Yeah.
Which means less you interfere, better is. With especially, I have to open here, without letting people make circus of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the main issue. Because if everybody is doing their job as they have to, less you interfere, better is. But in certain moments, you know, I had experience with a lot of championships, and there is a referee friend of mine, Mengini from Italy, and he said, my God, when I see you come to me, I know I have done some shit, you know, because normally I'm not coming to protest or do, or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, because, you know, it's also very difficult, and people doesn't know that, you know, actually, when you have to be a referee of Olympic finals,
Sure.
don't tell me that there is no stress. Of course it is.
Of
You know.
course.
So, you know, what we have to understand is everybody has to do his job. And your job is to be committed in every single step you make. This is the best way also to eliminate the fear or prejudice of any kind.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about your time as a player. Well, first of all, you played, you have a lot of experience, but you played in different times of evolution of the volleyball. So in your opinion, what do you see the difference between the players? Like you said, in the last times, there were teams, there were superstar teams, a lot of good players in one team together. You had the Netherlands team, you had your team, Italian star team with Zorzi and all of them. And today, the teams, there are less players and stars in each team, and it's not the whole team, but maybe one or two players in them. What do you see the difference between the past players and today's players?
You know, volleyball get her evolution towards strength and power, which basically should be the same thing, you know.
Yeah.
It's because it went twice towards this direction. At the beginning, I played with the system 4-2 at the beginning, so I'm saying it's a very, very long time ago. And, you know, where techniques was very important. And mistakes was cured with perfection of the techniques. But, you know, at the levels that we were playing afterwards, 2 practices per day, many games, etc., 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 becoming professionals, I believe that at a certain point, volleyball has arrived to the top of techniques, tactics, and physical preparation. Then it has arrived at the moment where, with young players, coaches didn't want to work anymore, because the production of the young players was dedicated to some schools or to some countries, and a lack of technique, basic technique, and essentially of the coaches who were working on production of the players have driven us in a different direction, which is, it's important for you to be tall and strong. So I will teach you how to spike, block, and serve. If you don't defend, it doesn't matter. There is a people who will defend for you, and there is a people who will receive for you. And today we have, when I watch volleyball, I see a lot of situations where basic mistakes are normal part of the game. And I'm not very happy about it. You know, specialization that Doug Bill have inducted was a step forward to improve some elements of the game. With libero, idea was to improve reception and defense, which of course does his job, but also negative aspects of the thing, which was no more universals, but specialization, which had, let's say, I'm more for this kind of system, but now I see that less and less people wants to work on improvement on technique and work with kids. Everybody would like to be with the senior team. Everybody would like to earn a lot of money, and we have different problem now, which is early specialization, one, two, putting too much pressure of the high level exercises and tactics in youth. So a lot of kids just give up on volleyball too soon.
Mm-hmm. When you arrived to matches, when you were a player, were you excited, nervous, calm? How did you prepare yourself mentally before the match?
Never calm. I was never calm. I was on 100, even more. For me, the game was like a battle.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, especially before important games, you cannot sleep. You are thinking constantly what you will do, what they will do. You know, you play the game before it starts. And this is stressful, and this will exhaust you pretty much. So you have to be aware of that, not to go too much in it, so you will tilt. And you know, for me, for example, in the finals of the Olympics, I couldn't sleep, and we had to go with our suitcases to the locker room because Olympic Committee buy the tickets.
Yeah.
As a suggestion of our volleyball federation, which were thinking that we will not come in the finals, so they buy the tickets for before. Fortunately, we didn't think like that, and we arrived there. I was sleepy. I was playing the game during the night,
Yeah.
and when we came there, I was sleepy. Entire warming up. So when we came to come to the game, I said, "Come on, man, wake up! This is Olympic final. This is one in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Wake up!" So I start to scream, you know, just to wake me up, and I was
To pump the
screaming entire.
adrenaline.
I was screaming entire game. So, you know, sometimes it's good to be sleepy.
Sometimes.
Apparently.
How do you see the role of the referee in the match? What are you looking for in a perfect, or what would you call a referee, a perfect referee or near perfect referee? What do you think that he's?
You know, I believe that less you hear about refereeing the game, better it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because this means that situations are clear. I think that a lot help has arrived with Hawkeye, for sure. And I believe that in many occasions, referee have to be the manager of how the game goes. Because there are the teams or players or coaches which are making the circus and the show of the game.
Okay.
And you just have to be aware of that to put them on their place. You know, because the game has to be a celebration, have to be a party of volleyball sport and our activity, not someone's personal frustration.
Yeah. We referees, we have case books, and we have the rule book, and we have guidelines, a lot of you know, a lot of material to stay updated with all the rules in order to manage and to do the things. Do you think that it's very important also for the players to know and to follow these materials, to stay updated as well, and not to have this kind of conflict, to understand what the referees are whistling about? Or?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because, you know, to ask a referee for decision means that you know rules perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, absolutely. Now, what I was wanted to say also before, very important characteristic for the referee is also to ask the second or somebody if he is not 100% sure in his decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, not to be proud to change decision if he made a mistake in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it happened, and I played a lot of games, it happened, he decided one thing, then he was aware, and then he didn't want to change his decision, but he gave us point in later points.
Like
You know, like it's never good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so before to decide, be sure that what you have seen and what if you're not sure 100%, to ask assistance, to ask help. You know, I mean that is absolutely okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because then if you say, is this players have seen differently, players were right and they become angry, then yellow card, red card, etc., 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 then the circus is starting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think just having a clear idea about decision and then go for it.
You know that, like you're talking about the circus a lot. There's in high level matches, you have discussions and arguments between the coaches and players and the referees. Sometimes it can happen for misunderstanding of the referee, the calls of the referee, or they don't accept the referee for what he said, for things.
Look, do you know any situation where player or coach imposed referee to change his decision? I don't. You know, so you know how they say, the point is when the referee whistles. You know, so no matter how right you can be, if the referee haven't seen this situation or he decided in a different way, that's it. You just have to accept it and go for it. As I said, hopefully we have Hawkeye, so Hawkeye can help. Only also Hawkeye now, in a lot of circumstances, coaches are abusing and not using.
Yeah.
Which is not good. You know, so it's about thinking how the game to be faster, you know, without losing unnecessary time.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that happens on the field and all techniques there is should help referees to have easier decision in giving the right to one or the other side.
Mm-hmm. But then also the teams have to have some trust in referees. You as a player, absolutely. How do you gain the trust of the referee?
Look, I can tell you this. Trust is always earned.
Mm-hmm.
Always. Now, when I see the referee, which came in the house of my opponent, and he's whistling no matter that we are guests and there, he have my respect. Not because he's whistling for us, no. Because what's right, it has to be right, no matter what. It's always like this. Mm-hmm. Now, I can tell you, it's not, you know, it's not secret. Referees and referees and players and coaches are not in great love. under my advisement, something that could help a lot is if coaches go for trainings with the teams. When I was playing in Italy, we had constantly some referees who were coming in afternoon trainings, like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to whistle when we were playing against each other. Why? Because you have to adapt your eye on the speed of the ball.
Yeah.
It's also practice for you, which is fantastic. One. And two, Jesus, we know each other. So you already know on a high level which referee or which player or which coach have which character.
Yeah.
So more or less you know how you can handle it. In my career, I get maybe 2 yellow cards.
That's all?
And 1 expulsion.
Ah.
1 yellow card was from my uncle while I was still young. Expulsion was when I on friendly game because I was dickhead, and the second yellow card was by mistake. The other guy done something, he thought it was me, so I get yellow card, and that's it.
And it stayed only with the yellow card. You didn't argue, so it stayed only with the yellow card.
No. Look, I was arguing if only under the limit of danger.
Yeah.
Because first of all, you cannot fail respect, because authority is a law. So the worst thing you can do is to provoke him, so he will become angry.
Yeah.
And trust me, I know some Serbian referees which were dickheads. If you push their balls, they will put you underground 4 meters straight away. So, you learn fast, very fast. And, generally, I think that most of the concentration that player must have is not on the referee, but is on the game. Because if you are thinking about what referee was whistling, you are not thinking of the next point, and you are losing the next point, which is counterproductive. So referee has to do his job, and the players has to do his job. Sometimes coaches intervene and start to argue with the referee because they want to provoke their team and they want to wake up their team to start to play. But tactics are always tactics.
Well, this is one reason that we are having this meeting, and I also did some other meetings with other coaches and players, is to open some kind of a dialogue and understanding, to listen to the other side, to know how it's working. I think that maybe sometimes having a meeting before the match between the referees and the coaches to talk about, to say, we are the referees, nice to meet you, this is how we will whistle, and this, it will lower down a little bit the pressure and the pressure between both sides, and then we can have a good thing. As a player, were you interested to know who were the referees? Did you give some importance who will be the referee in your match?
No, let's say it was not that much important, because there were some clients of ours that we had that we knew every time when they are whistling, we are in trouble. Like a guy from Finland, etc., etc., etc. But generally, I think the main focus of the players must be on the game. Also for the coaches. And I believe that all participants in the game should help each other, so this kind of the show really passes in the best way possible. Because no matter how important we are or how good we are forgetting one important thing, that people is watching. Among these people, a lot of kids or youth. What kind of message we are giving?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm arguing with the referee, sending him to hell, or I don't know, I'm giving example to the kid that tomorrow he will do the same thing to his professor in the school, which is very wrong.
Yeah.
Responsibility that we have, it's about controlling our behavior. You know, it's difficult sometimes, you know, because, you know, injustice is always something that you cannot live with. I have learned entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Shit happens. You have to learn to go over. And I always start with one idea, which is always very clear. Nobody is doing mistakes by purpose.
Yeah.
So we are all humans and we have to understand that. It's, you know, very, very simple. There are dickheads among players, among coaches, among referees, which, you know, they will be always like that.
Yeah.
And nothing on the world will change. You just have to accept them and that's it.
Yeah, for sure. When the coach starts a small circus, a small riot and everything, how does his behavior impact the players, the teams? When the coach becomes angry and starts to shout with the referees, how the teams will react, the players themselves?
As I'm telling you, under my advisement, he wants to wake up the team or wants team to support him in emotional or psychological way, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So he would like to wake up the team or make them get stronger or more angry, etc., etc., etc. I knew the coaches who were getting yellow card by purpose just to make their team angry. You know, it's
yeah, it's called a kind of tactics, huh?
yes, it's always kind of tactics.
Um,
Now, you know, when you're a referee, it's just about you. Will you accept this kind of the circus or no?
yeah. There are also different types of players which react to referees. Some of them are very passive, and they will accept most decisions, if not all decisions, almost never argue. They will say, even if they think that the referee, the other team, the other players are shouting that the referee made a mistake, they will not go with the referees, they will concentrate and go for the next team. But there are players who are more active and have active work, meaning they will always try to talk to the referees, complaining or arguing or something like that.
It's always about how much you let them do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because sometimes players are maybe asking for something which really occurred. But also the way of protest cannot be excessive.
Yeah.
No too much, you know, there are way and way. If you're asking me, I was, after referee's decision, when I was understanding that he will not change, this helped me to get more angry and crash the ball. You know, I was screaming, but never towards to him, always turn on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, under my advisement, the best thing is to call the captain and tell him what or why is decision.
Mm-hmm.
You know, explanation is always good thing because at least they know why you have to decide something or what is your decision.
Yeah.
For sure. You know, or to call the captain and say, the only person who can approach is you for to coach the same thing. You can ask me if you want clarification. That's it. So I believe when you put the things on the table and you know how the game rule of the games are, there is no problem.
Mm-hmm. Do
I mean,
you
don't ask me. I would never be the referee because for some behavior of the player or coaches, I'm telling you honestly, I would go down and I will beat them to death. Because really, there is some players and coaches which are disastrous.
Yeah.
And that's not the way of the sport or the face of the sport I would like to be called in. Absolutely no. You know, And I mean,
Sure,
you know,
I can tell you from my experience, you know how many whistles I broke with my teeth for being so angry at one of the players. But you can, me as a referee, I can do nothing. But I can show you, I have about 4 or 5 whistles here, broken.
I think you can do. I think you can.
Yeah, we have the cards eventually. That's it.
Yes, you have 2 cards in one hand, and you just show him the way to
Yeah,
locker room. You
yeah.
know, it's easy to do it because as I said, you know who is the main person there. You are trying to be invisible,
Mm-hmm.
and you are trying to show yourself the less possible. But in excess of emotions, of nervous, of everything, you have to put the things on the stage. You are controlling the way of the game, how the game goes.
Do you believe the intention to be fair is more important than to be the intention to win as a player or as a coach?
Look, I can tell you this. They gave me the award of fair play.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the sport is uh, activity or the work of knights.
Okay.
It's not about winning. It's not about participating. It's about fighting fairly with everything. That's why I'm against doping on 1,000,000%. Because being liar and tricky to others, it's saying a lot about you. For me, the way me and my brother were educated since the beginning, it's honor, it's passion, it's dedication, and to fight against the others on the same level. That's it, you know. And I can understand that, of course, somebody wants to win at any cost. But this is bad attitude that, let's say, an antique Olympic Games were failed because professional athletes and professional coaches were ready to pay to referees, pay to I don't know who, to use doping and everything just to win. And that's why they were prohibited. And I believe that this is the same way that the sport of today is going. With no honor, we will lose ourselves. And it's not just about the sport. It's about the message of education that we are giving. I'm always on that, not because I'm working with the kids now,
Yeah.
but because sport is just one small piece of physical activity which should help people to achieve their 360 degrees development. You can call it sport achievement, you can call it economy achievement, you can call it architecture achievement, political achievement, whatever. But it's about recognizing yourself and arriving on the top on behalf of basic Olympic principles by feeling pleasure in physical activity, that you are earning value. Otherwise, you go be a gladiator, fight, that's it.
Yeah.
But it's not like that.
In your own personal opinion, are you satisfied or agree with all the rules of the games, the rules that are now? Do you have any ideas to improve or change, or some rules that could be suggested to the commissions to be changed, but to make the match better, to make the game better?
Yes, but this is their job.
Mm. No, but from your own perspective as a player, what
They
would you
they are
change?
they are earning per diem when they come to Lausanne or to Luxembourg, so they have to think. You know,
Yeah.
there is always space of improvement, always. And as I said, we have to think about how and in which way we could improve the game more.
Mm-hmm.
Not only by changing the ball, or I don't know, to see how to do with the other 6 players, or where the coaches have to stay, but also to see what would be the best thing for the volleyball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, too many changes are not good too.
Mm-hmm.
Tennis hasn't changed nothing, and look where they are.
Yeah.
I mean, the main issue for the volleyball is visibility. And I believe that with the Volleyball National League is done tremendous job, great job, because for the first time we are on the international platform, easy abordable by everybody.
Yeah.
I remember that at the beginning, players were not very happy because they had to play, they travel, etc., etc., etc. And there was also some problems, etc. So we tried to discuss, to explain to them that this mainly or benefit is for the players because they can sell themselves much better.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now, uh, yes, for sure, I think that coaching commission has to be in all federation, has to be composed not only of top coaches, but also of the coaches of youth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there is none of the federations that has a program for the kids and youth of development, how to work in which way, etc., 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 or to suggest national federations how to organize camps or preparations for the national team. And it's essential because technology of work with youth is 60 or 50 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the coaches who work with the kids, I said already that these are coaches who couldn't have a team of seniors, so they went down and they work with the kids. The camp I'm running for the 5th year now,
Mm-hmm.
it were passed by 2,300 kids from 36 countries in all continents, gave me results because we are measuring everything in orthopedic way, in motor development way, in psychology way, on volleyball and beach volleyball, to understand quantity and intensity of work by age and by gender. In which age you have to start to work with kids in this, in this, in this, in this, and why you cannot work with them this, because it's too early, or on what you have to pay attention. So I formed the program which was improved in this 4 years before and gave us results. I had the 1 year 840 kids.
Wow.
And I can tell you there were kids from Russia, kids from Canada, kids from USA, from Iceland, but also from Mozambique, from South Africa, from one more country, from Africa, I don't remember. Those who were staying 2 or 3 weeks, improvement were amazing.
Mm.
You know in which aspect? Prevention of fear. The biggest problem of the kids or people generally is a fear. Kids are with the problem of making mistakes. So when they come to me and they call me Dr. Fear, I help them to go over. And I say like this, you in my camp have only one task, to make mistakes. Your mistakes are mine, not yours. Because I want to see from you how you do some movement and why you are making mistake to help you to get over it. So when they start to feel relaxed, they show me real themselves. You know, this aspect is completely different of everything that you will see in a volleyball today. Because kids cannot make mistake. If they make mistake, they are criticized. So they do not, or they avoid to do some things, etc., etc., etc. Let me give you an example. You have a player on the serve. 2-2, tie break, 14-13. And the kid have to serve. There are two things passing through his head. One is, oh my God, just I don't want to make mistake. And the other is, oh my God, I just want to put the ball on the other side. Yeah. You are smiling, and everybody who's following us is smiling because this is exactly what all players think. And trust me, not only kids with 11, 12, but also players on 28, 29, 30 years.
Also the referees.
Now, with one difference with the men's. As a men's are like protagonism, to be a champion, to do everything by themselves. There is also a third possibility. I will hit now this serve so strong, I will make ace and I will win. Which is the most stupid thing they can do.
Yeah.
So trust me, these two aspects are in every sport that kids are or players are practicing. Don't ask me how I know, because I went through it.
Okay.
So I learned this shit and how to prevent it. There is a video on my YouTube channel where me and my brother are explaining to kids how they have to think and what are the steps to go over it, to control the fear and focus on what they have to do. So what I want to say is that essentially composition of commissions, of coaches, for example, should be a mixture. So we have entire development from the youngest towards the oldest, because we need to bring these kids from the youngest towards the top level. When we are speaking about the medicine, medical commission, we have to think what is the healthiest way of making sport, in this case, volleyball. What are the biggest number of issues, orthopedic, heart, lungs, etc., 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 and make the program of exercises, of analysis, whatever, to give suggestion to national federation in which way they should work to bring kids for healthiest sport of all. This will increase the number of the kids in our sport. For the game, rules of the game, how not to impose to the teams and to players, but to let them feel as free as possible so the game gets also the beauty it needs. Too many rules destroys the game. You know, referees, coaches, athletes commission, medical, rules of the game, everybody should sit together for the first time, because these commissions never sit together.
Yeah.
People doesn't know each other, and we have to know each other. Why? Because your point of view, coach's point of view, player's point of view, as somebody from bureaucracy, are 10 points of view, completely different. When we get all sides of the pyramid, we will have complete look. Then we can talk about complete approach and development for the future of our sport. That's my opinion.
Do you have a vision that the FIVB would put more emphasis on the education of the young and the youth, like you say, and to have more development and resource on development for the youngsters and less on the top levels and everything?
I mean that FIVB would help. That's my opinion. to emphasize all stages, not only the highest level, but also the younger categories. I mean that, you know, mostly we are watching the national federations, right? And national teams.
Yeah.
So helping national teams to be better is giving us better product, let's say. And this is the short stage. On a longer term, we have to think to create players which will help us to achieve this more easier. So that's why the medium long-term development is connected on work with kids and youth. For sure. Many of these kids and youth will not practice volleyball for, I don't know, older age, but the pleasure and pleasant period of activity will always have connection with volleyball. Mm-hmm. And that's important, you know.
Yeah.
So I believe that we cannot develop just parts. It has to be everything together with, as I said, mindset of accepting everybody and understanding everybody. Because, you know, sometimes even listening a story for 100 times maybe will give you one perspective that you haven't heard 99 times before.
Yeah, for sure. Vladmir, I have to say that I see you as not 100%, but 150% sportsman with every part of your body, including the brain itself, concentrated on sports, on achievement, and on development of the sport itself and not yourself. And for me, this meeting was really a great pleasure and honor to speak with such a person like you that gives a lot of encouragement and enthusiasm and gives me a lot of wanting to be better myself and to help others to be better with. Because when you see somebody like you, when we meet somebody like you, it's almost like the coronavirus, it's contagious. Your passion passes to us and helps us to become better in ourselves, in our work. And
thank you for giving me to be Corona. No, you know, I can tell you, I entered in FIVB in 2006.
Yeah.
As a member of development commission, so you can imagine just what I have heard.
Mm-hmm.
All of kind, etc., etc., and many of ideas that I said represented by somebody else after 4, 5, 6 years. We are living in this system in a world where changes are very slow.
Yeah.
But they are not impossible.
Yeah.
So what I have achieved on the field, it's my achievement and achievement of my team. Now, it's my time to help everybody who wants to be not helped, but inspired, to do the same thing with himself. There is no one person in volleyball family, I say one person in volleyball family, which doesn't deserve respect of any one of ourselves. Mm-hmm. And I will say this clearly as a message. Don't think that you are sitting in some place which maybe for you is far or small. Your contribution is nothing. Trust me. If you think like that, I will just once again give you example. 1,500 people, village, mm-hmm. with the boys of only that village have won the national championship of former Yugoslavia.
Incredible.
When you start to say impossible, these are words in your head. Desire is a power. I know that. Mm-hmm. I went against all odds, and I was fighting against all odds. In in the country where I live, if you are capable, if you know, if you are independent and you have your opinion, you are enemy. So even with this reputation of enemy of the system, with no sponsors, no support, no nothing, I have done with my camp for volleyball something that people who understand volleyball and people who are near to, let's say, those who I repute real volleyball people, they said it. This is something that will really change the game in matters of future and recognition of our sport from society. Because volleyball, we know what is volleyball. And we were too close for the rest of the sports in the world. So what we have to do is to open this sport. The way of communication between us, the way that we depend on each other, the way that we cannot win without all the team. We know how on intellectual level we must be prepared to succeed. Now, if we add all odds of society today, which is 96% of orthopedic problems, flat feet, back, etc., etc., etc. Diabetes that is grown 1,500% in the last 20 years, okay? Motor development, which is disastrous, psychological problems due lack of physical activity. We have brought this all together in what I call active research. So we create the program for every single kid to be happy and participate to the game with the smile on his face. And I believe this is the best thing and my mission while I'm alive, and I will do that for sure, where also the kids with intellectual disability are the part of the game, where indoor volleyball, beach volleyball, sitting volleyball, grassroots, and water volleyball, and snow volleyball are part of the camp. We talk volleyball, health, and good values. And I believe that is something which divide us and other sports. We have something more to give. But if we don't show that to the world will not know that.
Understood. Vladmir, I'm overwhelmed and inspired. I feel like going out now to the street and raise my volleyball flag and invite the whole neighborhood for a volleyball match.
Okay, just don't kill anyone, please.
I would like to thank you very much for being with us, Vladmir, and sharing with us all these beliefs and ideas of yours, and your enthusiasm to our sport and this all the social thing that works with us and inspires us. Before we finish, I would like to invite, if anybody has any questions to ask, you can unmute yourself. I would allow you to unmute yourself and you can ask any questions. Vladmir, please. Yes, Mushtaki.
Hey, Roy, I don't know if I will allow to go first, but I have
oh
to say
my God.
my friend.
Oh my God. This is very hot secretary from Development Commission.
He is very, very passionate about the kids, you know. During the Development Commission meetings, we had many exchange of ideas. He is one who would regularly tell us about creating the vision for the kids, you know, helping them, whatever we do. He always insists that the smile on the kids' face, volleyball, when they are happy, is his passion. And I always welcome hearing him. When I note that he is going to be on today, I said I am going to put my phone next to my computer while I work. And whenever I get a minute, I will have to say a few words. Hey, Vladimir, you know, for the referees, it's really, I think, great to hear a player's perspective, but not only to hear the player's perspective, but to hear your philosophy, to listen your motivation, how you motivate people to, that the world is our limit. And our head is not our limit. But many of us believe that what is in our head is our limit. The world is our limit. The sky is our limit. Go out, dream.
Yes.
Follow your dream.
Yes.
Make
Yes.
your dream a reality. You know, you said something that, and part of my philosophy is, if you fail to prepare, then prepare to fail. You know, but during the FIVB Congress that we had last week, while I was preparing my research material, I came across a very, very nice saying of Abraham Lincoln, the former president of the United States. And he said, the best way to predict your future is to create it. And this
Yes.
is what you have done. This is what you have done,
Yes.
being an athlete. And after being an athlete, this is what you try to encourage people. Give back to your sport. Give back to society. Give back to the community. Create the energy in the kids so that they can be the future, and they will
Yes.
represent what we were when they were not even existing.
Yes.
So I really Roy, let me congratulate you for choosing my good friend Vladimir to being here and to sharing these moments and these thoughts with you. I couldn't left it alone. I had to be here with you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mushtaq.
No problem.
Thank you, Mushtaq.
Roy?
Thank you. Thank you very much for these kind words. I could not have said it any better than you did just now, for sure, for sure. Anybody else with any questions, or if you want to add anything? Well, I guess that we are all okay. So again, Vladimir, thank you very much for being with us, for accepting my invitation.
Thank you for the invite.
Very, very unique for us and very interesting. I invite you all to see it on YouTube, and you could share it if you would like. And keep safe and healthy, and see you all in the next meeting. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vladimir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.